Hello Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. I am Abigail Buklasan and your news anchor for today. Our headlines for today is about Western art history. This news is created to help students understand how the historical background, philosophy, art style, and art forms of Western art progress. It would help them identify the distinctive characteristics of Western and different art movement in different eras. And here's the learning objectives. First is identify the underlying history, philosophy of the era or movement of art. Classify the various movements by citing their importance characteristics such as historical background, factors, influential person, socio-political issues, and prevalent artists and art form. Lastly, present the history and movements of art through a timeline. So now, here's the reporters of different eras.
Good day! This is the concise timeline of Western history art. First, prehistoric art, 40,000 to 4,000 BC. Characteristics, rock carvings, pictorial imagery, sculptures, and stone arrangements. Second, ancient art, 30,000 BC to AD 400. Characteristics, religious and symbolic imagery, decorations for utilitarian objects, and mythological stories. Next is medieval AD 500 to AD 1400s. Characteristics, dark imagery, biblical subjects, classical mythology, and Gothic architecture. Renaissance, 1400s to 1600s. Characteristics, natural elements, individualism, realism, attention to detail, and precision of human anatomy. This is Sarah Jane, your reporter.
Good day. To continue, Mannerism from 1527 to 1580 BC. The characteristic of Mannerism are stylized features, exaggerated details, and decorative elements. Baroque from 1600 to 1750 BC. Its characteristic are ornate, grandeur, richness, stylistically complex, and dramatic. Rococo from 1699 to 1780 BC. Its characteristic are lightness, elegance, natural forms, asymmetrical design, subtle colors. Neoclassicism from 1750 to 1850 BC. Its characteristics are renewed interest in classical antiquity, harmony, simplicity, and proportion. This is Jericho Galarita, your reporter.
Next in our timeline is Romanticism, first defined as an aesthetic and literary criticism around 1800s, focuses on individualism, an emphasis on nature, emotion over reason, freedom of form, and the exploration of Gothic and unknown. Realist movement began in the middle 19th century as a reaction to Romanticism and history painting. It is accurate, detailed, embellished depiction. It rejects imaginative idealization of favor of a close observation of outward appearances. Art Nouveau, ornamental style of art that flourished between about 1890 and 1910 throughout Europe and the United States. It is characterized by organic lines, intricate patterns, diverse use of materials and earthy colors to allow materials used to be molded into natural forms. Impressionism was a radical art movement that began in the late 1800s. It is small, visible brush strokes that offered a bare impression of form and blended color and the emphasis on the accurate depiction of natural light. That's all for my report. This is LNG Anlika reporting.
Good day. To continue, Post-Impressionism from 1885 to 1910. Its characteristics, subjective vision, symbolism, and abstraction. Fauvism from 1900 to 1935. Its characteristic, expressive color, line and brushwork, bold surface design, and flat composition. Expressionism from 1902 to 1920. Its characteristics, distortion of form, strong use of colors. Cubism from 1097 to 1914. Its characteristics, abstraction, flat, two-dimensional surfaces, geometric form, and constructing vantage points. This is Reina Galliano Ignalgan, your reporter.
Realism originated in the late 1910s and early 1920s, features the elements of surprise, unexpected juxtaposition, and non sequitur. Next is abstract expressionism. Post-World War II, valuing freedom, spontaneity, and personal expression through poured and drip paint moving around the canvas. Op art, short for optical art, came to prominence in 1960s, a high-contrast black and white lines and patterns composed with mathematical precision. Pop art, introduced in mid-1950s, known to its characteristics, recognizable imagery, bright colors, irony and satire, mixed media collage, and innovative techniques.
Minimalism, created in the United States in 1960s. Minimalism art is an extremely type of abstract art that usually is depicted through simplistic shapes and hard edges. Conceptual art. Conceptual art is for which the idea behind the work is more important than the finished art object. It emerged as an art movement in 1960. Conceptual art is mainly focused on ideas and purpose. Contemporary art. Contemporary arts consist of indigenous art and studio art. The art throughout the region is distinguished as a vast array of forms and style, seeking inspiration from cultural or social issues, local custom and or tradition, indigenous cultures, and established fine art forms. Art povera, the characteristic of soil, rocks, paper, and other natural elements to create a pre-industrial sentimental. And I am Christian Lloyd Gulye, your reporter.
And that's all about Western art history. Your news anchor for today is Miss Abigail Buklasan, and we are the Breakout Room number 2.